The most notable thing I can say about this chapter is that I was not expecting Magna and Asta to have their rematch so soon, and the fact that Magna has been learning a lot more tricks since last time, especially with like these brand new, two pretty much new techniques that he's pulling out on there. And Asta, like, why the fuck you leave like one of your most precious items and all that like in the dust right there, because you are fucks. Like, you need the other sword, and you've got to rely on your partner immediately to try and back you up with this, because it's like, you know, I hate to say it and all that, but Asta's in deep shit really, and he's gonna have to rely on some of his teammates and all that to actually pull through this one to go against his pal Magna, right? So to be fair, this was the fault of Zora as well, mainly because he's like, you know, fuck you, you piece of shit. Like, Mimosa's brother, cousin, where the fuck he is, he's like, fuck you, you piece of shit, you got cocky, this is what you get, all you know was are the same. And he just like kept digging him and like, I'm gonna put you into here, I'm gonna make sure you can't breathe, oh, here's all this stuff. And Asta left his sword in there. He's like, my giant sword, what are you doing, Zora? Like, seriously, what the fuck are you doing right now? And he's like, well, there goes one of my weapons right now. Oh, I'm in for shit right now because it's me and him, and Magna decided to come in with a bunch more techniques, and it's like, oh, so I've just got my absorbing sword, and that's all really I can do about that, like, immediately. And especially when Magna's like, you know, I want revenge after, like, last time, after the first early few chapters where, like, the two of them, like, teamed up with, like, Noelle. It's like, the 32 ones, we learned immediately that he's learned some new techniques and all that immediately. One was like this baseball run like thing where he like enhanced his feet around, and he was able to like run really fast. And not to mention as well, his whole like, you know, main gimmick, which was his baseball throw, is he will be able to hit him dead on. But the problem is that he's able to have an actual ability to make them vanish like into a disappearing orb. So the fact that is that it's still there because it can still hit things. Like, the best way, honestly, to describe it is like what like, if anything, and I know that very early on in Boruto, like, has the Rasengan. I think it was even in the movie as well, where he was able to use a Rasengan, and then it was able to, like, disappear into its own different kind, where it was, like, a vanishing technique. Like, Magna's technique is a lot like that. He realized, like, immediately, and a lot of this was, like, I know for the fact and all that I haven't got this insane amount of, like, I can't, like, show off my abilities. Like we saw with Mimosa's brother, where it was, like, making all these, like, sakura, like, petals and all that go everywhere. He's not able to do giant amounts of high quality of magic, but the one thing he can do and all that is because of due to how finite that he has, he's able to enhance these little balls of energy, and it's like, this is, like, an actual technique that works at him, where it's like, he's be able to do this. And the fact of the matter is, like, he's like, I've got a score to settle, and it's not really with you. Like, as much as, like, I want this fight right now with you, Asta, I want to get to the final rounds, and I want to prove luck, like, you know, that I'm the strongest, that I'm up here and all that. And the fact that the two were acknowledging each other throughout the entirety of this, and Asta's like, I've still got such a long way to go if I'm dealing with opponents. And, like, luck is literally there saying, like, I want to be there, I want to have this and all that. And it's like, let me be in this fight, I want to fight right now. And it's like, no. And immediately, like, when we got to see that, like, either Mimosa, like, as well, going against, like, one of, like, the Blue Knights, like, lieutenants as well, and it's like, yeah, like, there wasn't more to that fight. I kind of thought that would have been interesting since we hadn't seen a lot of Mimosa, but, like, it was the start of the chapter, and pretty much, like, her using, like, her giant plant magic, and immediately got beaten up as, like, it was able to defeat, like, Soul, I believe the name is Soul's, like, golem, but it was she just changed it into, like, a bunch of mud and, like, able to trap her up, and it's like, they're already a person down, and they thought it was kind of the same way as well, what thought Zora did immediately with, like, that piece of shit and all that other cousin. But no, he immediately got up as well, and it's like, this is a problem. And even throughout all of this, while, like, Asta's trying to defend, like, their crystal, like, Zora is trying to buy them time. Is like, you know, I need 5, maybe 10 minutes, and I'm being able to do this. One of his most powerful spells, one of his most best traps that he has, and he was like literally doing it right as that happened. It's like, no, I need to do this right now, and it's like he's finally pulled it off. But the question is and all that, whether or not and all that, like, you know, like, what's happening, like, what exactly is this technique that he's going to be doing and all that. Like, I will say and all that, like, if anything and all that, like, and I've noticed as well, as I've even mentioned, like, so many times before, and, like, this was, like, an enjoyable fight. I was actually really happy about that. But I now know as well, like, it isn't just me that was complaining about, like, the whole, like, pacing, whereas, like, we're really taking a while with some of these fights that have been going on. Like, that's, like, other people as well. And I'm kind of, like, at least happy it wasn't just me that people were finally getting there. It's like, we kind of want to see a few more fights. But like, that's the thing. We're getting some good shit right now, where it's like, I'm happy we're having this Magna versus Asta rematch. I really like this. This is something I, like, wasn't really expecting them to go too heavily deep into, but they are, and it's like, it's a nice thing to see that it's like, it's not just the Asta show where it's like, let's show how awesome he is. It's like, no, like, even his pals, like, even the people that you didn't expect to have their little time to shine, they're getting their moments right now as well. We've had Magna, we've had Luck in the past, we've, like, well, and hopefully and all that, like whether or not they'll get full arcs or not, because I don't think, like, Magna's kind of the one, since we already know pretty much a lot about him, but hopefully we'll have this with the other characters as well. Like, hopefully we'll get this with Grey. Like, I really hope, like, she's, like, one of the characters that hasn't really had at the time. I think as well, like, he's kind of become a little bit of a joke now, but the one that's, like, got the cap on, has some weird lipsticks, I think his name's, like, Gordon or something. Like, he hasn't had anything, so it's like, I like this, that it's, the Black Balls are getting their time to shine. And it wasn't just this feud and all that that we were expecting. Like, Yami's like one of the most popular characters in the series, so I'm glad it's not just him as well. Yami's fucking awesome, and I kind of wish he was more in this tournament. I kind of wish, like, he was in there, like, competing, but I think he's a de facto, yeah, he's going to be in this, like, no matter what, the actual Royal Knights, regardless of this situation. But whether or not and all that, I think obviously, like, Asta and all that group's going to be win. I think the next thing and all that, if they do go to that, I would like to see Luck actually get that, and considering as well that we've got Finral, like, this is a whole thing as well with him, he has a little score to settle as well with his brother, so, like, other people are getting that, and that's what I like. So, like, not only is this tournament going to be settling stuff and all that with Asta and Magna, hopefully it's going to be same with, like, Finral's arc as well, and also as well this new character Zora and all that, and I'm curious to see what his magic was. I will say it's, like as always and all that, like I mentioned with some of the chapters, it's slow paced, but this is the difference between, like, a few chapters ago when he was being introduced to Mimosa's, like, cousin, and versus this and all that, it's like, you know, we haven't really too much progress with the fight, but I still want to see, you know, a little bit more, and, like, maybe other fights going on at the same time. Like, I would have, like, kind of appreciated that, but, like, it seems like they're going one fight at a time, then next person, then one fight at a time, next person, so we're getting a lot of different perspectives. Some of them aren't interesting, but definitely I would say this one's really interesting, and as I have to keep repeating it and all that, like Magna and all that, I've always liked the character, and I honestly didn't expect it's like, he'll be early in and then he'll be out, but no, it's like, we get to see it on it about, it's like, no, let's give this guy time. It's like, if they're wanting me to write more stuff and all that, and do more stuff where we actually get into the invasion, to, like, this big invasion that's setting up the Royal Knights, like, no, let me set up some other characters that, you know, we actually want to see and all that. And I feel like maybe that has a lot to do with the anime as well coming out. It's like, let's give more personality, let's give more reasons and drives and, like, development for these characters. And trust me, that at the end of the day, I think a lot of people just want to see that. If, like, one of your characters is getting a time to shine and all that, then at the end of the day, that's all you really care about. And overall and all that, so far it's interesting, but Asta is a big disadvantage here with just his sword. But I feel like maybe he'd get around with this. Like, he has absorbed stuff with that sword before, so maybe he could be able to do something like that where he could be able to, like, absorb Magna's fireball, albeit it's disappearing before he can really react and all that, but we'll have to wait and see and all that. But overall, I think it was a definitely decent chapter, and I feel like this fight's probably going to end next week and all that, but overall and all that, I'm glad Magna's getting this time to shine. That's all from me though, so thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys though next time.